So you take the ammunition and you place it into the magazine, and then you can fire it from the magazine. And
yeah. So, what is it you're doing here?
well, I was told that I would receive some ammunition, and I still have yet to receive any ammunition. And I was under the impression that there would be people taking the ammunition and bringing it to us, and I still have not received it. But that's my stapler. Well, I'll set the building on fire.
Last Minute Man, and we are back on the range. I'm here with my good buddy, Mr. Obvious. And Mr. Obvious, what are we talking about today?
Oh, I guess we're phase 2 on the AR today.
Yeah. So, Mr. Obvious and I, to catch some of you up if you didn't see the previous film, we have built what we're calling our budget rifles. And these cost roughly in like the $600 range to build. We've got Arrow Precision upper and an Arrow Precision lower. We put a Wilson Combat grip on both of ours. Mine has the Wilson Combat stock, and this is just an A2, M4A2 stock, so nothing special there. But other than that, they're pretty much identical, other than the nickel boron bolt by AR Stoner that Mr. Obvious is sporting, and mine has just a nitrided AR Stoner bolt. And so far, I've put about 200 rounds through mine without a single malfunction. Mr. Obvious, how many of you placed through yours?
Oh, done the first video, then I was using, remember, open sights on the first
irons.
I put a red dot and zeroed in, and probably put in a few more rounds through it.
So yeah, you probably got roughly 50 through yours, something like that. So
Yeah.
we're going to go out here today, and the whole premise here is you've got your budget rifle, and likely if you've built a budget rifle, you're doing so to save some money, right? So I'm going to show you, after you've built your rifle and you've got your budget AR, not only are we testing it out for reliability, we shot off the bench and got a basic 0 on them. They are shooting roughly 2.5 minutes. And depending on what ammo you put in it, with 55 grain, we're getting about 3 minutes. I'm getting 2.25 to 2.5 minutes with 62 grain, which is about what you would expect, I'd say. But we're going to go out here and do some shooting drills. Now, what I'm looking at is how can I get the most effective time on the range, okay? So if I'm new to this and I've purchased my first budget AR, I want the most bang for my buck when I go out and practice on the range. So I'm going to show some drills we did in the military. Nothing complicated here. This is nothing super secret or complex, nothing complicated. But this is just to gain confidence in your weapon system. So when you fire it and you see it's functioning flawlessly with the ammunition, preferably that you're wanting to carry in it. But what we're going to use here today are some Wolf, and I've got some IMI, and they're both 55 grain bullets. But in doing this drill that we're doing today, we're on the range. We've got 10 rounds. I'm practicing with just 10. And, what can I do in that time frame with that kind of a budget? And so I got 10 rounds to fire, and this ought to be good. So let's get out here and shoot.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, so while Mr. Obvious is setting up our targets, I'll explain the drill we're doing. First, I want to apologize for Mother Nature. It's not cooperating with us. We've got a lot of wind, so bear with us. These are some good drills, just basic stuff to do. But what we're going to do first is do some dry firing techniques and get you kind of warmed up. And we're going to start with Mr. Obvious doing that, and we'll get that on camera. But the drill is going to be putting 2 shots on the center target, and you can see that is down the hill from me. So there's going to be some transitioning here, but you're going to put 2 shots on the center target, we're going to put 2 shots center mass on the left target, 2 shots center mass on the right target, transition back to the left target, placing 2 more shots, and then my final 2 shots are going on the center. But the way we're going to start this is to get that muscle memory down. I'm going to have Mr. Obvious do some dry firing techniques just when I say go, because we don't have a shot timer. But we'll get his rifle out and get him ready. You ready, Mr. Obvious?
Ready.
All right. Okay, so what Mr. Obvious is going to do is some dry firing here, and I'm going to say go, and he's going to start in the low ready, and then he's going to draw his sight up and place 1 shot, just dry firing, onto our center man there, and I want him to hit center mass, and he's got to articulate the safety while he's doing this. But Mr. Obvious, are you ready?
Yep, it's on safety. Can't squeeze it.
Okay, and there's no ammunition in the rifle. But okay. So, you ready?
Ready.
And go. Now, I want you to do the same thing, Mr. Obvious, but follow through this time, and don't come off the target till I clear you to come off the target.
Yep.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Ready.
And go. All right. Come down. All right. Now, do it again. This time, I want you to keep the trigger pulled and work the bolt back after you fire. Get the reset and fire as quick as you can with that reset. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Low ready position and go. All right. Now what he's doing there is feeling the reset of that trigger while looking through the sight at the target. You'll see any kind of movement you're going to get. These are mil-spec triggers, although Mr. Obvious and I both like to just polish everything down. So ours is running about 4.5 pounds. Both of our triggers are. But you feeling pretty good there, Mr. Go ahead. Go ahead. Obvious?
Pretty good.
Let's do one more, and I want you to pull up, hit center mass on the center target. Then I want you to work the bolt and transition to the left target and do the same thing. Except don't go back into low ready, okay? So just like you're really doing it. All right, low ready, and go. Now transition. All right. See, so that's kind of going to give you, and you can spend as much time doing this as you feel is necessary. And when doing drills like this, you got to be honest with yourself. You know, how well are you putting that dot on the target? I also want to mention, I prefer using targets that do not have like a big red center on them or some bright color to shoot at. You know, this poor fella here, this is a computer generated guy, but this is more realistic to what you're going to see. You're not going to see somebody wearing a bright color. So you practice how you're going to fight. This is relatively close. I mean, what are we here, Mr. Obvious? 30 feet.
About 30 feet.
So this is a very close target. So we're going to go reset. I'm going to put this in the wide angle lens, and I'll start out and I'll shoot one round of it, and then we're going to look at how I shot, and then Mr. Obvious will shoot a round and we'll look at how he did. So just stick with us. All right, now here I go. I've got a hex mag loaded up with some IMI, just 55 grain, 193s. So, all right, I'm going to charge it. Safety is on. Make sure my ears are good. Okay, Mr. Obvious, let me know when.
Go.
All right, safety's on. Okay, so we're seeing what I kind of expected we'd see. My first 2 shots were very tight. My next 2, when I transitioned back, opened up. So, you know, the stress will get to you. But let's go over here and look at this other target. Okay, so transitioning to the left target. I've got 3 on here, so there should be 4. So I missed one. So, I mean, it can happen. Odds are when I did that, I was probably lunging forward, you know, mitigating recoil and lunging forward a little too much. But these are things you can critique when you look, because I was shooting a little low of center. Okay, so that probably was me kind of dipping, but that's not terrible. And let's go over here. And this is the right side, and there should only be 2 on here, which there are, but they're a little further to the left than I'd like them to be. So I want to reposition here, but these are things just shooting 10 rounds. I was able to see a lot of what I did. My trigger control wasn't horrible, because I am shooting pretty tight for as quick as I was pulling the trigger. But obviously we can dial this stuff in and get better and better. And truthfully, if you take 100 rounds and practice this for over a 2-day period, you can probably really tighten up your groups. But now let's let Mr. Obvious have at it. Okay, so Mr. Obvious is out here, and he's got an old school magazine. This is even before my time in the military, and I can tell because of the very, very cheap looking follower it had. but so that's an old one, and he just had a little bit of a problem getting around to feed in it. And that's the kind of stuff you'll run into when you're using older equipment. But we got it figured out, and Mr. Obvious is going to do the same drill. And we got my hits covered up, so we'll know where he is. 2 in the center, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 to the center. Okay, so Mr. Obvious, are you ready, sir?
2 to the center, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 2
to the left,
and 2 to the center.
Correct.
Hopefully I get this
You
right.
start on the center and you end on the center, okay? Okay, so you're ready, low ready.
Ready, safety on, yep.
All right.
On.
Okay, Mr. Obvious, ready? Go. All right. And that looked pretty good. But see, that's the whole point. You know, you got to think a little, because you know, you're trying to recreate some kind of stress, and racing a clock or trying to be fast kind of helps induce that stress. Yep. And also having a pattern you got to shoot. But let's go over here and mark his targets with pink or yellow, and then we'll look at them. All right. So here's Mr. Obvious's shots, and I say beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck, that's what it was.
No, he did outstanding. I'm very impressed with this. And that's age and experience, man. Very good trigger control. You did a good job. But he's got 3 right in the stream right here, and 1 a little high. But buddy, that right there is what you call perfect, in my opinion. All right, now let's go over here to the left. Ready? Oh, okay, we're rolling.
We're rolling.
All right, so this is after the transition to the left. He put 2 in there, and I couldn't tell which ones were landing when, but good God, man. Look at that. So that was awesome, Mr. Obvious. So he shot very tight, all center mass, and he hit all 4. Okay, so excellent job. Let's go. And again, just what can I say, but good job, Mr. Obvious. Excellent grouping, excellent trigger control. Nothing bad can be said there.
Old Buckshot Billy would be proud of me right now.
Yeah, he would be, wouldn't he? But, okay, now let me show you another drill. Okay, and again, bear with us. I apologize for the high winds. But here's another drill that can kind of help you. And again, we're just going to demonstrate this, dry firing. But you can see my rifle's empty, safety's on. I am standing now facing away from the target. And I'm going to hold in the low ready. Mr. Obvious is going to say go, and I'm going to pivot. And when I pivot, I'm going to come up, remove my safety, and fire a shot. And you want to do this as quick as you can do it, but it's reflex firing is what this is. So instead of the way we did it in the military, a lot of times we would just be looking at the front sight post when we did this. Okay, and so these targets are, like I said, relatively close. So just something you can practice here. This will help you with your rifle articulation. So go ahead, Mr. Obvious.
Go!
Okay. Safety's back on.
Go!
And again, working that reset. So these are things you can do to kind of practice. Just just little drills you can do, just dry firing. Obviously, I need to do a lot more of it. Mr. Obvious outdid me today, and I was actually kind of shocked. I didn't think he would, but I'm impressed.
Here's you one. For real.
Oh,
Pivot and
well,
shoot.
I
I put one in it.
Better put some ears in.
Better put some
All right,
ears. Gets his ears in here.
Okay. So I'm going to be shooting at this target next to me, and I'm squared off the opposite direction. Okay. And safety's on. Okay.
Go.
And I hit a little low. Okay. But again, I just used the front sight post. So as soon as I fired, though, I could see right where I hit. And let's go over here and look. So I never even used my red dot there. I just put the front sight on the silhouette. So, you know, again, you gotta kind of adjust for that. But yeah, you know, it's been a long time. But you know what? This is a good drill. And this is something you can do at home, or well, dry firing you can do at home. If you're like Mr. Obvious and I, and you have some property or a good range that you want to go to, you can definitely practice this and not waste a lot of ammo. And it's never a waste of ammo, in my opinion, to go out and train yourself and to get good with your weapon system, especially if, you know, this is what you're wanting to use to defend your home with. But let's go back now, Mr. Obvious, for an AAR.
Alrighty then.
And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
Well, it's obviously we had pretty good fun today.
We sure did. We sure did. And didn't blow off a whole big chunk of change. You know, Mr. Obvious was shooting stuff he's had since like 1988. So he got like boxes of that for like $4 and less a box. So, and I was shooting the IMI, and we had a good time. I mean, I was still under 50 cents a round shooting that stuff. And, you know, it's not an expensive day, guys, you know, to go out and shoot, and it pays radical dividends for you to do so. Practice. And it's fun to do. And some things I want to talk about, and Mr. Obvious said something. Tell him what you said about rabbit hunting.
Oh yeah, rabbit hunting is kind of where I transitioned, but I don't get real speedy. I'm taking my time, but I draw them, boom, boom. Just that's practice from rabbit and squirrel hunting all my life.
Yeah, all of his life. So something, and the reason I found that very interesting, you'll watch a lot of these videos on the YouTubes, and there's guys that are just competition, man, and they are outstanding. But they kind of laugh and scoff at guys that they do the whole FUD thing. They call you FUD. If you know, you rely on your hunting ability and saying like that's going to help you transition. Well, clearly, I've been through the military. I was under special operations, and Mr. Obvious outshot me today, no problem. Okay, so I've had military training. He has not. And so there you go. And I've shot countless of thousands of rounds through an M4 and an M16. So just to show you guys, there's no replacement for actual experience. You can practice all you want, but you know, having that adrenaline and stuff when you're shooting, you know, it changes things. And just having, I guess, putting in the trigger time matters. Whether it's hunting or training on the range, it'll serve you well. So, and like I said, also, if you don't use it, you do lose it. So, absolutely.
You got to use it.
But
we stay in practice pretty much. So.
Yeah, well, mostly what we do a lot of bench shooting and stuff on our gun reviews because we're wanting to take the human element out of it. Just let you see what the rifle itself does. Or the handgun itself does. We try not to mess it all up with our shooting capabilities or lack thereof in some situations. But here I'm wanting to show, get out and practice. Don't be afraid to miss, okay? You don't want to miss, but if you're missing, you're learning something still, okay? Maybe you need to slow it down a little bit. Like I missed that, I had that one flyer where I missed the target completely, and that was the closer we're at 25 feet, and the furthest guy was at 30 feet. Okay, that was the center target. So at 25 feet, I missed. Okay, and it can happen. How I did it, I don't know. I think I was lunging is what I think happened.
Yeah.
But you're learning something. You're learning something when you do that. Slow it down, get more controlled groups. You know, what I could do 15 years ago clearly isn't what I can do now. But practice, 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 and you'll get back there.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it's the way it is, whether you're playing a musical instrument or shooting a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put in the time. And guys, it costs money. It does. It costs money to shoot. And, you know, I've got some friends that spend an awful lot of money on cars and going out on the weekends to the bars and things like that. And, you know, they'll tell you things like, man, who can afford to shoot like you guys do? And I've had guys say that to us. We can't afford to go out and shoot every weekend. Yeah, you can. Put down the beer and don't go out. You know, what's important to you? What's the most important thing to you? You know, $25, you know, for 50 shots isn't too much to ask. You know, a $25 weekend and just using 50 rounds. And like I said, spending a lot of that time dry firing, a lot of that time working on your technique. Once you get your rifle zeroed in, the sky's the limit there. But yeah, $25, you could have ran that drill 5 times. Okay.
Yeah, I don't buy beer, I buy ammo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Video, so.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, we live out in the country, and you know, people might say I'm boring, but that's the way I kind of like it. You know, I like it nice, easy, and calm.
Peaceful and quiet.
Exactly. Unless we're shooting, then we're raining fire, baby.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. But yeah, so if you have any comments or suggestions for us or things you'd like to see, let us know. We're going to do, the next video is going to be a run and gun, and I've got a run and gun course that we do, and that's going to kind of encompass what I believe are the best training techniques to get familiarized and get pretty decent with your firearm. And then we're going to wrap it up with 400 yards with these red dots and see if we can even hit the thing at 400, which we should be able to. But anything you want to add, Mr. Obvious?
No, just other than our sighting, being this is so high, I think it's got our burrow down. We should have been holding probably neck area, then we'd have been in
here. Yeah.
So, but I was trying to get right in here area, and or was actually hitting it because we're so close, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, those are all things you got to figure out. You got to find that out about your firearm. Like I said, using this A2 front sight post, and I know somebody out there cringes when I say this, but I seriously did train on that when we were doing reflex firing. We would just come up, I mean, even room clearing, doing CQB type stuff. It's more of a reflex, okay, than it is aiming and getting that real calm aim. You're sometimes you're just boom boom, you know, you're firing, you know, and whatever the situation dictates.
Yeah, you brought up a real good point the other day. I really liked it and thought a bunch of it, and it makes a lot of daggone sense. Having this front post on your gun, if this fails, the red dot does not come on, your battery's dead. That center post, that post is right there in the middle. It's almost like a big giant halo sight. Ghost sight.
And at close range,
sight,
it can get you close.
Yeah, I mean, you put that in the center of that, you're there. I mean, at close range, you're not going to miss.
Yep. And I am going to get MBUS sights for the rear on these, and you can actually look through those MBUS flip up iron sights. And we have clear vision through this red dot. So if the red dot did fail, I could always go to my backup iron sights. One thing to note with that though, and I'm glad you brought that up, is this is kind of sort of like a prism when you're looking through. And the reason I say that, it's kind of like putting a stick in the water, an oar in the water, it looks bent or it'll appear bent. You'll get a little bit of that. Okay, so if you zero your iron sights without this on, you might want to re-zero when you put a red dot on it because things can shift. Light kind of bends a little bit. So that's just something to be aware of. And again, comment below if you've had a different experience, but that's been my experience personally. But all right, so I think we covered everything. So with that, everybody, remember, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us on
Rumble!